Okay, so today's topic is this an addiction we can recover from? Now, I'm specifically talking about
iPhone, social media, internet, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, anything online that's taking your eyes away from the real world.
there's an addiction now. This is a new form of addiction. I think it's kind of obvious in a way, to be honest. It's kind of common sense. Like you don't really need to do that much investigating to figure this out. I think we see it, we feel it. Sometimes we eat ourselves are demonstrating it. But I bring this up because I also think it's and feel that it's getting worse with every generation. Not to trash on not to trash on any generation or anything like that. My generation, we didn't have, man, I sound like a boomer to say this. Back in the days when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. Okay, I'm not that old. We didn't get phones. We were like the generation that was introduced to phones. But we didn't grow up with phones. So I didn't have a iPad as a toddler, We see them all the time. Toddlers are just, they know how to work the dang thing. We didn't have that. I didn't get a phone, I think, maybe till I was like 13 or 12. And even then I had a Firefly. For those of you who don't know, a Firefly is essentially, it's a cell phone, but you can only have 3 contacts. So it's like an emergency phone, basically. You can only call your mom, your dad. And I think, I don't remember if I was able to text on it, but I remember I could for sure call. But those were the only people I could call. And then I really wanted the pink razor because the pink razor was super popular back then. But no, I never got the pink razor. Anyways, social media, same thing. MySpace was bigger back then. I had a MySpace, but I never used it. I think maybe I used it to see other things, but I never posted on my own MySpace. I was kind of like the lurker.
Oh, okay.
So during that time, we didn't have that, but we still had a good balance. I was still going outside and I had a lot of physical activity. And the next generation, I think, grew up. We're seeing how they grew up literally from babies to adulthood or early adulthood, maybe like late teens. They've had phones and social media throughout this entire time. We were going to see what the long-term effects were with this generation. And that's what a lot of studies have been done on Gen Z and even being done now with the next generation. And it seems to be progressively getting worse, I think it's this, what used to be kind of like this smile form of addiction that, everyone used to kind of make fun of, and it was very lighthearted. Now it's become more serious and dark, and caused a lot of, mental health issues and just an unhealthy way of living life. So I was reading some studies, which we'll get to in a bit, on what the effects, on the actual effects of too much social media and then this addiction to our phones and everything, what it's done to young people, young kids and adolescents. I've also noticed that more and more kids have become more violent. I don't know if maybe my algorithm or something, but I'm seeing a lot of kids become violent towards their teachers when their phone is being taken away. Now, when I was in school, yes, we always had kids who would talk back, and I feel like that's always been there, just rebellious kids. And there's a lot of different factors for that, maybe their home life, and then that's a whole other story. But now it's specifically when the teacher takes the phone away, the kid feels entitled to the phone. Like, how dare you, when I was even in high school and middle school and did have a phone, everyone knew you weren't supposed to use your phone in class, because the teacher's going to take it away if she finds out you're using it. Like, that was such a common thing. And then when the teacher did take your phone away, you're like, oh, dang it, got caught. I was always getting caught being on my phone. I'm like, I would try my best to hide it. I'd be in PE class, we're about to run our 7-minute mile. And I'm like, if I can just kind of, and next thing you know, Cassie, get off your phone! So, I don't know. Maybe it just varies. Maybe it's just the internet kind of specifically scrutinizing on this, anything that's scandalous, it's going to go viral on the internet. So could be that. I also see it as like the new toy effect. So remember when you were a kid and then you got a new toy and you were super stoked? Like, this is the toy that you've been waiting for since last Christmas, like this was it. Everyone had it, whatever. this was the toy you want. You get the toy. And then 6 months later, there's like another toy. There's a new toy, And then it's funny because it never stops. Even I'm giving you an example as a kid, but as adults, you get the iPhone. And then there's another iPhone. The thing about social media within the new toy fact, the correlation is I feel like with social media could be much more dangerous because there is a never-ending amount of content on social media. It will go, there's so much. You'll never run out of videos to watch. You'll never run out of articles to read. There's so much. And it's, back in the days when there were just newspapers, I would assume that was where they got their content. And after they finished reading through the newspaper, they were done. They had to wait till the next day. Even if they wanted more, whether they liked it or not, they had to wait till the following day to read the next newspaper. So there was always this finite amount of content. And it was a controlled, then, they'd finish their newspaper and I would imagine they go about their day and go to work. I'm sure there's way more factors. Again, I'm not like a scientist or someone who studied this in great detail. These are just things that I find to be, like I said, in my opinion, obvious. But there are studies that have been done on this. And one of the studies done by the U.S. Surgeon General's Advisory, according to the U.S. Surgeon General's Advisory, adolescents who spent more than 3 hours per day on social media faced double the risk of experiencing poor mental health outcomes, including symptoms of depression and anxiety. Now, there's also additional factors like comparing your life to other people and people making their life seem so much cooler than it actually is, body image. There's a lot to it, and I'm not immune to it. I have I definitely remember being a teenager and even sometimes now, something like, it can get you down sometimes. But I notice that the older I get, I've been able to control my mental perspective of it. So now I also use a lot of self-discipline. I'm not on it all the time, not on social media a lot. Yeah, I think it's really important to, if you can't handle the type of thing, then don't feed yourself. I'm not going to go. If I know I'm going to eat the whole jug of ice cream, I will not buy a whole jug of ice cream. I will maybe buy smaller ice cream. The thing is, I have hope maybe that it will change for the better, but I don't know. I feel like we're almost too far into this hole that I think it'll always be around, unfortunately. And so I think it's up to us to also mentally block things, mentally, don't expose yourself to certain things if it doesn't make you feel good. So for me personally, in general, I don't like being on a screen too long. It doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel happy. It doesn't make me feel fulfilled or like I'm living my life. So I actively have to practice self-discipline in turning it off, after a certain amount. I'm actually, and then it gets better. You get used to it. In the beginning, it's hard. Now I'm used to it. I'm not really on social media a lot. I'm on it for short time periods, but yeah, it's definitely doable. I also want to be fair and also mention the positive side to social media. It's not all bad. It's not all terrible. And like most things, there's a good and bad side to it. I feel like there are many benefits, including providing a positive community for people that otherwise they would not have found in their local community, maintaining friendships and social interactions. I know this has been great for me, especially when I moved to college. When I moved for college, I was able to keep in contact with friends from my hometown or in family and see what they were up to. I was always the person who would call on the phone, but I also just like to see everyday activities, the things that people would think are insignificant. I always like to see what people were up to. And I thought it was just a way to stay connected. And the ability to communicate and form your own community, which is something I hope to do on this platform. I hope to create my own community here on this platform on YouTube. And I want to promote positive messages and help better people's lives. I'm not really here for gossip or celebrity gossip and all that. I just don't like talking, maybe unless there's a lesson to be learned from it. But for the most part, if I don't enjoy gossiping about other people, I'm not perfect. I'm sure I will make a mistake and I hopefully will catch myself. I just think it's better to focus on how can I become a better person, and that is the type of content I want to create and put out there. I don't even have a lot of videos on my channel as of now, but I do plan to upload more. But I wouldn't want to be the channel either. Maybe, I mean, it's flattering if you want to binge my channel, but please don't at the same time. Maybe like space it out, you know, go outside, spend time with your friends, your family, do the things you enjoy doing, try something new. I just definitely want to create a community that is out there to change themselves and the world for the better. I digress. These are my thoughts. These are my thoughts on the current addiction on social media and phones in general, iPhones. But I hope that we can change it. I hope that we can have more self-discipline and control and ultimately better our lives for the sake of our health, our physical health, our mental health, our spirit. I think it can be bad, but I also think we can use it for good. So I'm going to end on a positive note. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if this is the type of content you feel that you would like to see moving forward. Again, I will kind of go back and forth between more like formal videos like this where I'm talking about a more serious subject topic, whatever. I love doing skits too, and like maybe like cooking, you know, just like a random thought that occurred to me right now, because this happens to me all the time. A random thought when I'm cooking. It has nothing to do with cooking, super random. My sister always makes fun of me. She's like, where the heck did that come? Like you're making eggs and bacon and you're thinking about like, how did that thought even occur, right? If I thought it would be like a kind of a cool idea to document it and just to have my camera ready to go. Because if not, the thought stays in my head or it comes out to my siblings or family members or husband. And then they, you know, they're most of the time they just listen and nod their head. But for anyone who might be interested, maybe there's a community out there who relates to that. So I'm out here, I'm searching for my community, I'm on the hunt. Hopefully you are there somewhere out there. And if you are, please subscribe, please like, please leave a nice comment. I mean, please be nice, because these are my first couple of videos, guys. Like, you know, I'm new to this. Cut me some slack here, cut me some slack. Please, pretty please. All right, I'm gonna let you go. Bye, guys.